Fanfic Corner, presented by Jennifer. Where You Want to Be, Chapter 1. The Marauder sped away with several Imperial TIE fighters behind it. However, once they made the jump into hyperspace, the Bad Batch knew they were safe. The rescue mission had been a success, and Omega was clinging to Hunter as if she never wanted to let go. "What do we do now?" Wrecker asked after looking at their leader. "We go into hiding," Hunter said, picking Omega up so he could at least walk. "Though I don't know where." "Tatooine," Crosshair said from the back of the ship. "It's so far out in the outer rim that the Empire has no interest in it at the time." "But there's nothing there," Wrecker said. "Actually, that is not true," said Tech. "There are towns, moisture farms, and a few cities." Hunter didn't say anything. He was thinking. "That's where we'll go," he said. Light from the twin suns streamed through the window with the curtains doing little to block it out. Hunter rolled over in an attempt to get up, only to find Omega sleeping next to him. In the 2 months since they had moved to Tatooine, Omega had only slept in her own room a few times. "Come on, Omega," he said. "Time to get up. We have to open the store soon." When they had arrived on the desert planet, they had bought a business in one of the oases. Originally called Dinar's Claim, they had changed it to Omega's Oasis. The business kept them all busy and was far enough away from the cities to keep them safe if the Empire ever came to the planet. Because it was so far from the nearest town or city, the store functioned as everything for the people that lived in the area, and everyone had a job to do. Wrecker ran the garage with help from Tech. Echo found solace in the dewbacks and Eopes, who didn't care that he was mostly machine. And Hunter, Crosshair, Fee, and Omega ran the rest of the store. Omega pushed herself up, Lula falling to the floor. Sand from outside had found its way into the living quarters, meaning they were going to have to run the cleaning bot. Someone must have gone outside during the night. Most likely Echo. A few of the female Eopes were expecting, and Echo had been checking on them regularly. They were actually in the process of building a barn to keep the animals safe at night. "Do you think we'll see any Jawas today?" Omega asked. They had seen tracks from a crawler on several occasions, but had yet to see the scavengers. They had also seen bantha tracks, but were unable to tell if they were from wild banthas or the ones owned by sand people. "We might. Just remember that anything we get from them has to be cleaned and fixed before it can be sold to the customers." It was a rule they had all agreed on when they learned that the Jawas sometimes came to the oasis. "I remember," Omega said. "Good. Now go get dressed and make your bed. It's Echo's turn to make breakfast." Omega got up and went right to her room. In the short period of time since they moved there, she had already filled it with toys, games, and quite a few plushies. Lula, as always, would hold court over Omega's other toys from her bed for the day, while her trooper and kaleidoscope were on her dresser. She had a few other dolls on chairs and in the corner, and somehow her new stuffed bantha had found its way into the hall. After getting ready for the day, Hunter and Omega joined the others in the kitchen. Tech and Wrecker were discussing the work that needed to be done on one of the speeders, while Crosshair and Fee were arguing over the placement of a new display in the store. "Hunter," Crosshair said, "tell her the display should be at the counter where it will be out of the way." "It should be where everyone can see it," Fee said. "Not all our customers come to the counter." "How about in front of the aisle across from the door?" Hunter said. "That way everyone can see it, and it won't be in the way." It was hard to argue with that. Breakfast proceeded much quieter after that. There was still a lot to get done before the store opened. Okay, Hunter said once the kitchen was cleaned. I have to go to Mos Eisley to pick up some supplies. Echo's in charge till I get back. Can I come too? Omega asked. The question wasn't really a surprise. Omega had been clinging to Hunter more than usual lately. They were all pretty confident it had to do with her imprisonment on Tanitus. Even Crosshair had no idea what she went through. You can come, Hunter said. Omega gave a shout of excitement and ran off towards the family speeder. We'll be back as soon as possible, Hunter said. In reality, Hunter and Omega wouldn't be back anytime soon. Hunter undoubtedly would treat Omega to lunch and some window shopping while they were in town. Omega loved going to Mos Eisley, especially with Hunter. The speeder ride over was always fun since they played games on the way, and she always came back with a new toy or holovid or holobook. Okay, Hunter said. It's small and furry and gets into all kinds of mischief, but can always get out of it by looking cute. A tuca, Omega said. It's small with spikes and makes a tinkling sound when it moves. Hunter thought a moment. I have no idea, he said. A crystal fox, Omega said. It's big and likes to sleep on the furniture, chase swamp rats, and eat Crosshair's boots. That's an easy one. It's Batcher. Batcher was a Lakar hound that had been liberated along with Omega and Crosshair, and had become the family pet. Omega giggled. She loved Batcher. She was a good playmate for her, and a great watchdog. Though for some reason she had recently taken to chewing on Crosshair's boots, and only Crosshair's boots. It really didn't make sense since Omega left her shoes and toys all over the living quarters, and Wrecker left his boots in every room except his, and Crosshair always kept his boots in his closet. But somehow Batcher had figured out how to nose open Crosshair's closet. Okay, Hunter said when they got to the spaceport. Let's go see if the supplies are here. The freighter had arrived, but was in the process of being unloaded, so they would have to wait. They couldn't collect the supplies until everything was unloaded and checked. How about we do a little window shopping, Hunter said. Omega loved window shopping. Sometimes, if she played her cards right, she could get something from some of the stores. Mos Eisley was busy. Omega had to stay close to Hunter so they wouldn't get separated. Not that she minded. Ever since her rescue, Omega had been somewhat reluctant to be out of Hunter's sight. They visited a few shops where Omega was able to talk Hunter into getting her a couple of new outfits and a new chew toy for Batcher. Do you think Batcher will like it? Omega asked, looking at the chew toy. I'm sure she'll love it, Hunter said, and maybe it will keep her from eating Crosshair's boots. Omega giggled. They could only hope. How about some lunch? Hunter said after they checked the progress of the shipment. Sounds good, and I'm a little hungry, Omega said. They went to one of their favorite cantinas. There were several that were more like restaurants than bars, and that Hunter felt comfortable taking Omega to. What can I get you? The waitress asked. I'll have spaghetti with meat sauce, Omega said. Make that too, Hunter said, handing the menus to the waitress. I like when we come to town, Omega said. I do too, Hunter said. It's nice to get away from the store and the others for a while. They were walking down the street towards the spaceport after lunch when a noise drew their attention to one of the alleys. 3 teenage boys were huddled around something and seemed to be hitting and kicking it. Stay here, Hunter told Omega, afraid it might be an animal the boys were hitting. What are you doing? He said to the boys, taking their attention away from what they were hitting. Go back home. The boys ran off, and Hunter saw what they were hitting. A boy, no older than 14. And Hunter recognized him right away. Commander Dume? I still don't know how he managed to get this far with the Empire hunting Jedi, Echo said. He has a story to tell, that's for sure, Tech said. It will have to wait, Fee said. Let the poor boy rest. He's been through enough. Everyone left the room as Fee closed the door behind her. Omega, Echo said, why don't you go out in the yard and play with Batcher? Omega knew better than to argue. Come on, Batcher, Omega said, heading outside. Both suns were out, so it was hot. Omega opted to play in the shadow of the house where it was cooler. Batcher got into a playbow as Omega picked up a ball. She knew what was coming and was excited. Go get it, Batcher, Omega said. Batcher ran after it and brought it back to Omega, dropping the ball at her feet and getting into another playbow. This was their favorite game. Okay, Batcher, Omega said after an hour or so. Time to stop. My arm's getting tired. Batcher whined, the ball still in her mouth. She hated having to stop playing. Let's see if dinner's ready, Omega said, heading into the house. Batcher followed her. A delicious smell hit them both as they entered the house. Yum, roast, Omega said. It'll be ready soon, Fee said, setting a bowl of soup on a tray with some toast and a glass of milk. In the meantime, why don't you and Batcher take this to our guest? Omega took the tray and made her way down the hall. When she came to the room the boy was in, Batcher nudged it open for her. The boy looked at her from the bed. Hi, my name's Omega. This is Batcher. Kanan Jarrus, the boy said. I brought you some dinner. Omega brought the tray over and set it on the side table. Omega, Fee called. Dinner's ready. How long until Kanan can come out and play with me? Omega asked as Hunter tucked her in. It'll be a while, Hunter said. His injuries need time to heal. And he also needs to learn he can trust us. Why's that? He's a Jedi. Like Gungi? This situation's a little different. We were on Kala when Commander Dume lost his teacher, General Bilaba. But none of you are responsible for that. No, but the other clones were, and that left him scared. And Crosshair did try to kill him. We need to give him time and let him know he's safe here. Okay, Hunter. That's my girl. Now get some sleep. We have another busy day tomorrow. And try to sleep in your own bed for the whole night. I'll try. Hunter turned the light off on his way out. Looking back into the dark room, he could see Omega drifting off to sleep, Lula held tightly to her chest. How different it would be for her to have someone close to her own age, and who didn't share her genetic profile, to play with on a regular basis. And how different it would be for all of them to have another child in the house. That is, if they could get Commander Dume to trust them.